Hi everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to Career in Focus by Your Life Sketch. Today's Career in Focus is Yoga Instructor, and I am happy and excited to interview today's featured guest because she is someone who has successfully transitioned from a full-time corporate executive to now doing something that she is very passionate about. She is a mindful movement and breathing educator, a yoga instructor, and the co-founder of FitINest, which she will talk about later on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Lace Zamora Ang. Hi, Lace.
Hi,
welcome.
Rachel. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure to be your guest speaker for today.
Thank you for gracing my invite. You know that you inspire me so much because I see how happy you are with what you're doing right now. So just to begin, can you give us a brief background of what you do now?
For the most part, I teach movement. I teach movement and meditation. So I focus a lot on helping people pretty much live better in their bodies. And lately, more importantly now, is I help teach people how they can manage the stresses of day-to-day life. Now that mental wellness has become increasingly important, and I also teach people breathing techniques, mindfulness techniques to just help them manage the stress of their lives.
So what does your typical workday look like?
Oh, a typical workday is very different from when I was when I had a full-time corporate job. My work now mostly happens in the morning before people go to work or at the end of their workday or when they get off work, whether it's a private client or whether it's a corporate client. For corporate clients, they usually have it before work starts or at the end of the workday. So the middle of my day, that's where the more administrative stuff happens. So that's where I do planning of my classes. That's where the alignment meetings with clients happen as well. That's where I do the paperwork. And that's when I do also personal or household errands. And that's also when I do my further learnings. So I read a lot of stuff about my craft. I also watch a lot of videos, especially now that it's easier, there's better access to learning material. So that's when I do when I have some free time in between meetings with clients, and that's when I do my personal stuff. So it's the middle of the day that's usually open or more prone to changes. But typically the morning and the end of the day, that's when the actual work of working with clients happen. Because people really look after their personal stuff and their self-care before they get to work or after they're done with work.
So how early does it start and how late does it end? Maybe the earliest and latest you've experienced.
The earliest, it can start as early as usually it's around 6:30 or 7 a.m. Because by 8 a.m. people start getting ready for work or people start coming into their meetings. The latest, well, normally when I'm dealing with local clients, the latest would be usually around 6:30 p.m. or 7 p.m. But there are cases where I have clients from other countries. So that is when the work hours are really odd, because if it's a European client, then the end of their work day will be 6 p.m. there would be plus 6 to 7 hours for us. So sometimes it happens at 10 p.m. or even midnight. So it really depends, but that doesn't really happen a lot. Every once in a while, we have clients abroad, but usually it would be either 6:30 a.m. or 7 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m.
And you're very considerate and flexible when it comes to that. Like if you have
I've already gotten used to the routine, and since most of the middle of my day is free anyway, at least I get to take a few hours off. If ever the client session is in the middle of the night, then I just try to make sure that the following morning is free so that I'm still able to at least get enough sleep.
Did you take up further studies, I mean, after college, or any special course to get you to where you are at right now?
Yes, I did. The first course that I did actually was in 2016, where I did my first yoga teacher certification. I I took a course in a 200-hour course to get certified as a yoga instructor in Singapore. I was certified as an Ashtanga and Hatha yoga teacher. And then later on, as I was teaching, that's when I started to pursue other studies related to my field in fitness and in wellness. So a lot of the other learnings that I did after my first yoga teacher training course just was pretty much influenced by the activities that I like doing and
Mm-hmm.
my lifestyle. So after yoga teacher training, later on I started dabbling into more physically demanding physical activities. So it was then when I started to experience getting injuries. And
Mm-hmm.
then with my students as well, some of my students who are into sports, they get these injuries as well. And they approach me for asking for help on how they can manage it. And that was when I decided that I wanted to learn more about the human body, about movement, which is why in 2019 I did a further course with Tune Up Fitness, which I took in New York. So it focuses more on movement and understanding the human anatomy, the human body. And at the same time, incidentally, that course also happened to include learning about breathing, and which is related to our how it relates to our health and particularly our mental health. So after I took that course, I continued to take online classes with Tune Up Fitness just to be able to learn more on the mental aspect of health. So, which is now, aside from movement, I also teach people how to deal with their mental health through mindful
Wow.
breathing, meditation techniques. So a lot of the corporate clients now, especially this past year with the pandemic, it's really a common concern for a lot of people who are working from home, especially now
Yeah,
that there's no delineation between being at work in the office
that's
and
true.
then going home, right? And I mean, at
Mhm.
least there's that physical delineation that when they go home, at least work is all they can. It's easier to switch off because you're in a different location. But now that people are working from home, people are more stressed,
That's
which is
true.
why a lot of my classes or sessions actually now have more focus on mental wellness, especially for my corporate clients.
Hmm. But you know what I like about that? Thank you for sharing, because with the added stress that a lot of people are experiencing, I feel that now there's more awareness and people are more cautious with, making sure that they're not just physically healthy, but also
Right.
mentally. So I think it's also a blessing in disguise.
It is,
Uh,
yes. Especially since before people would see yoga as an exercise,
True.
stretching, movement.
Mhm.
But in reality, yoga is about, mind and body, right? And mental health is still a big part of that. And now people are more open, I would say, I guess, open about talking about mental health. Because
Yes.
before mental health was a bit of a taboo of a topic, right?
Mhm.
People are a little ashamed. Some people are a little
Yes,
ashamed to admit that they have mental health issues, which is, our mind, we need to exercise it or take care of it the same way we take care of our body.
that's
And it's
true.
good that people are more aware of that now and they take extra time to really take care of their mental health as well.
Yes. Thanks to educators like you, because that's how we get inspiration when we see more of people talking about what's good and what needs improvement. So that's really very helpful.